to realize that it's time for me to scale bigger. It's time for me to do it big. It's time for me to do it afraid. It's time for me to do it with every form. It's time for me to collaborate with somebody. Sometimes it's just all about collaborating with a financial institution. That's why Pertinence is here. So yes, you've been doing it in a small scale. You've just been doing it. I just want to do my thing, what I can manage per time, but I don't want to. Sometimes it's time for you to stand up and make a difference. So this is just to charge us for today's event as we move on to today's session. So I think I just want to ask one or two people, what are you looking forward to? When you saw this event, what were you really looking forward to? I just want to get feedback before we get started. Anyone?
Good morning, billionaires. When I heard about this event, I just make up my mind that let me attend. We live in a world of information. So I just need that one singular information that can move me from where I am now to the next level.
Much. She said she's just looking forward to that information that can move her to from where she is to where she wants to be. Thank you so much, ma'am. So a second person before we.
Hello, everyone. When I saw the flyer, the first thing that got me interested was entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. Then secondly, I know we live in the world of information, and whatever you know, you need to update. And when you have events like this, there are definitely information that will update you, what you have known before, and something new, something better, just to refresh my information database. That's all.
Information database. Thank you so much, ma. It means that every one of us, we have
came with some injections this morning. I'm very, very excited about being a woman. And you will not believe that I've not always been like that. As a younger girl in my early teenage years, I hated to be called a girl. I did everything, you will not believe. I did everything I could not to associate with anything girl. What's my reason? Because most times, I happen to have a lot of guys as friends, but that wasn't the only reason. Most times, I just saw that they were always talking about girls as the ones that gossip. So I'm like, why is everything bad, girls? So I'm not a girl. So I just concluded, you know how as a young person, you can just conclude over something small. You have already made a decision. And I tried to push that narrative. But you see, nothing feels better today than being able to own the fact that I'm a woman. One of the places where it shifted was reading the book of Proverbs. And I found out that wisdom was referred to as a she. I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. If wisdom is a she, what else do we need more than wisdom to do well in life? So I started owning being a woman from there, and here I am today, rooting for every single woman in the room. You're welcome. So we have a number of pointers to today's event, sponsored by 3 organizations. You will have time to hear from each of those companies. Pertinence leading the pack, and then we have PettySave Microfinance Bank. In case you do not know about Microfinance Bank, PettySave, you will find out about it today. You may have noticed the signage somewhere in the premises as you were walking in. And RCV, that's First Royal Character and Values Limited, into training and consulting. So the entire big theme is empower her. And then we're looking at the 21st century woman who is a go-getter, the go-getting 21st century woman. And I have some very strong points to begin with. I am going to be looking at a particular thing that has pushed us to look like we are not go-getting. And that has to do with emotions. How we have pushed it, how we have celebrated it out of context, and how we have used it to demarket ourselves sometimes without knowing. And how we have allowed some narratives to exist for so long from one generation to another. It will shock you to know that the older women were not the emotional type. They were very strong. How many of us remember your baby boomer mother being the strong woman who went to farm and did all of that? So how did we shift to that place where in the workplace, they think we don't deserve those positions because they think that one that cries with everything that happens, that one that always gives excuse that she has to take her baby to the hospital, that one that always says that she's having menstrual cramps, that one that always says that, oh, antenatal pregnancy, or someone says that don't hire a woman because 1 year after, she's going to tell you she's getting married or she's pregnant, or a lot of narratives have been able to sneak in on us. And unfortunately, we've not been intentional because some of them, we enjoy it. You enjoy the fact that you can go and ask for permission and they can let you go. You know, and over the time, we have not done ourselves a world of good at all. So we're here to talk about things that have to do with us. So do I have to deny the fact that I'm emotional? Or are emotions just a woman thing? Do they have anything to do with men? How are men managing to push the frontiers? There's a lot to learn from the male folks. Please put your hands together for them. There's so much to learn from them. If you must thrive and scale and be a go-getter person in the 21st century, there are a few things I'd like to say starting up. Last year, or some years ago, there was something about equity in the International Women's Day theme. And then the other time, they say break the bias, and so many things like that. But I'd like to say that accelerated action for me as the theme of this year isn't just saying, give me what I deserve. It is saying, I am ready for what I deserve. Are you ready? Mrs. Itepu spoke earlier on, that's MEC, and then she said, we should be ready. It's about how ready are you. Many of us are just sitting pretty, waiting for things to be given to us. Nobody's going to give you anything you don't deserve by being ready. So I'm here to activate you, to push you so that you can push every barrier in front of you and then hit those milestones. There are a lot of men, particularly the kind of men in this room today, they are looking forward to you succeeding so they can celebrate you. There are a lot of men that are ready to support and put their chest behind the back of a woman president because they know in their mind, for instance, that women have some things about them that are unique, that can help the country. But when are we going to get to that point where a woman is ready to be president? It's not going to happen by just saying, oh, you are a human being, we are human being, give us. Shift, let women sit down. Nobody's going to shift for you. You are going to deserve the seat and be given the seat, or you are going to stay where you are. That's why I said that I came with some injections for us this morning. And it's just the true talk about the woman that we all are supposed to become. So the first thing is, you're not going to just say, give me what I deserve. You are going to say, I am ready for what I deserve. So are you ready? That's the first big question. I'm preparing your mind for my slides. Okay, so soon you should have them up there. Another thing I'd like to say is, courage. Does courage, what gender is the word courage? What gender is courage? Gender is courage. It's male. Who else? What gender is courage? Huh? Are you sure? It's okay like it's a man thing, no? Sir, what gender is courage?
I think both genders.
What gender is courage?
The Bible says, and David encouraged himself. So it should be for all gender.
Okay, so what gender is resilience? To be resilient. What gender is it? What gender is hard work? So are these things important for anyone who will be a go-getter? So why are women less courageous than men? Why do we shiver? Why do we back down? Why do we turn back so easily? So, if resilience is for both genders, you want to achieve something, and then you meet a brick wall. Resilience is capacity to bounce back easily when you meet something trying to stop you. So, why does it seem like men have taken over resilience? And then hard work. What gender is work? It's unisex. What gender is money? What gender is success? I came to a conclusion and I told myself that a lot of things in life are not gender biased at all. The biases are in our minds. The biases have existed in our minds and in the narratives we have been riding on. So what narrative has been ruling your life over time? What have you submitted yourself to? You know, there's a way that something is moving in the air and it's a narrative, and then you have jumped on it without knowing, and it's already ruling your life. Like a software, like an operating system. And then before you know, your results in life are leaning towards that direction. So one of the things you must do here today is take a cursory look at your life, or do an introspection and say, really, how did I come about this? Life of a baby girl is very sweet, right? So I told my husband that once I clock 50, I want to be living baby girl lifestyle. He was just laughing. It's like this 50 thing, they will not hear word in this house. I mean, I've been shouting because he shouted his own when he was going to clock 50. So I'm like, I'm clocking 50 this year. Now, from that day like this, everything is golden. Sure, you know that 50 is golden. He said yes. I say my spoon golden, my plate golden, my food. So I said, everything has got to be golden. That I'm going to be living baby girl lifestyle. But you see, to think that you live a baby girl lifestyle only on your husband's money is not smart. It's not smart. It's not complete. It's half. So enjoy that man who gives you plenty, but push yourself. Guess why? Because you need to inspire the generation after you. You inspire nobody by just being a consumer. You inspire by being a contributor. So even though you have someone who is taking care of everything, your life does matter. The generation behind you wants to pick an inspiration from you. If you don't do it for any other reason, do it for that reason. Say to someone, do it for that reason. Okay, so let me attempt to move my slides. And please let me know once I'm like 10 minutes to the end so I can wrap this all up. Thank you. Who is working with me on today? So that I'm not leaving you behind. All right, so I'm on slide 2. I want us to read that quote together. I saw it online. Slide 2, if you can see it. Please read with me. 1, 2, go. Mm-hmm. We are out there with a shram, with a carrier for your face. We wear it. We wear it like a garment. And they are saying what we should wear more now is confidence. We wear it. Should I tell you why we wear it? Because most of the time when we wore it, we got a pity party, we got a sympathy, we got someone's shoulder to lean on someone's chest to rest on, right? So it became so sweet that, like, this emotion wearing things, okay, good. But it's not going to get you anywhere when you look at other areas of life. So I'm not saying don't be soft, because softness is first nature to you as a woman. I will never ask you to throw it away. It's a strength, it's not a weakness. So the difference has always been about mastering the choice of expressiveness. Men are not more emotional than women are. They are not less, pardon me. Women are not more emotional than men are. No! Go research. These are narratives we have, like, you have onboarded yourself on them. And they have ruled your life to a point where it's not beneficial. Even at work, you are losing your steam. In business, you are losing your steam. You jettison things so easily because, I'm emotional, I'm an emotional creature. God created me to be emotional. God never created a disadvantage with anyone. So if it wasn't going to be useful, it wasn't going to come with you. The difference between the men, this quote is not my quote. Women are really emotional creatures, comma, and men are kind of closed in terms of emotions. They have a way of nipping it in the bud. They have a way of tidying things up before they show up outside. Do you know there are men who cry in their rooms? I don't want to put mic to any man's mouth this morning. But honestly, I'm telling you, they have their moments. But no, they are not going to come outside and show it. Because it's a disservice. In fact, nobody will pity them. They will abuse them. But because when you cry, somebody greets you. Oh, woman, woman is crying, oh. You got so used to being pampered for your emotions that you are already beginning to use it to your own disadvantage. That will not inspire the next generation. Our talking here is not just about ourselves, it's about the generation after us. So I want to give you a few tips. Follow these tips to start rewriting the emotional narrative. Number 1, there are 8 points, but I have some subs under them. 8 points. The first one is define your key success pointers early. Woman, what does success mean to you? It looks like only a lot of men have answered that question. A lot of women are yet to answer that question. What does success mean to you? I can tell you the typical carryover from our mothers. Success means, these my children. I will raise them. Let me go to Yoruba. You know, English can be so deficient in weight. Who can say that in English? It will not match. It will not match. Timber and caliber. Iroko and mahogany. You know, but so a lot of the time we just tell ourselves that is it. After some women have talked about their children, nothing else is in their head. Check your head right now. Check. Just do a quick check. No, do a quick check. How many of you have the plan of anything else other than your children in your head? What dreams are in your head? Tell me.
I think about money a lot. I think yes, I am privileged to be a grandmother, and apart from winning my children to reproduce and all that, I think about how to make money. I always want to be independent, so I got retired early, and I started doing things that this money of a thing. If men are doing things to get money, I should also be able to do something to give me money. That's how I find my way to real estate. And I'm doing other businesses anyway.
Okay, thank you. That's our dream, so please celebrate her. Everybody's dream is valid, and you cannot debate any other person's dream. Dream your own. Okay, so you're not going to come out at her and say, why money? Why not? Dream your own. Tell someone, dream your own. But that's our dream. It made her to take some steps, retire early, for instance. And all of that. So check your head. What else is there? I want you to pen down. I must get clarity. So the first point I said, follow this narrative to follow these tips to change the narrative. I said, first, define your key success pointers early. Define your key success pointers early. There can be a lot of them, but what are the key success pointers? How do you measure success as a woman? How do you measure success? So I busted your bubbles by telling you the most frequently talked about. My children. So after my children, what next? I've been seeing some videos recently. They'll say that once they remove Mrs. from in front of your name, what's remaining? And they want to remove Mama this or Ya that or Ne this or Ne that from the front of your name. What's remaining? Huh? Your name. So what's tied to that name? Are you with me? So these are situations that we found ourselves in. Not because we planned it, but because it was a carryover. You just found it. And for those who are already older women in our midst, please take this message back to the young girls in your life. Help them. Strengthen them. Guide them. It's very important. So under define your key success pointers early, I have a few things to help you know what to do. The first one is it moving? I can't be checking. Is it moving? So I can go on. I want to be sure I'm not leaving you out. Have a sustainable why. So when you talk about your key success pointers, why do you want to succeed? I want to make money. After that, what next? Your why must be sustainable. It must be able to last for almost eternity. And the only whys that last forever are whys that are tied to the next generation. Because next generation never ends. Any why that you have for doing something that has not the next generation inside of it will expire soon. It's not sustainable. So we talk about centenary businesses. People should think centenary businesses models. Meaning that stop planning businesses that you don't know how long you want them to live for. So when I'm in certain classes, one of the questions I pop to my listeners is, how long do you want your company to exist for? And they'll be like, I don't get it. Why should you ask that kind of question? Because if you don't ask that question, you will not make provision for it. It's important as women to understand that we need a sustainable why. If it is just about you, before long, you will make all the money you need to feel good. And you get to a point, the money will start tormenting you. Because the money will be so much that you want to do BBL. You want to do all the other. I'm not castigating it. Those who do it know why they do it. But I'm saying that there's a point you have money to as a woman. That if you don't have a dream, that money will torment you. So what's your sustainable why? Why do you want to become that success, that indicator? Why? It is not just about you. There's an agenda, and I'm here to push the agenda today. Accelerate action around the agenda to inspire deliberately and not by default. A lot of things we do are currently by default. Okay, good. Thank you, Akala. So, please understand, if you miss anything I said today, there is an agenda. Say to a woman beside you, there's an agenda. And that agenda is to deliberately inspire the next generation of girls. Stop acting by default. Start being deliberate. See a girl beside you and pour into that girl. See a woman beside you and add to that woman. Why is it important? If we don't do it, the world will have half measure of success. So let me tell you, I started this research in 2020 about women and their importance to the world and the rest of them. And a few products came out of it. One of the things I found is that unlike what we have been told or you have chosen to believe, men are not fewer in the sense of what we heard than women. If you check right now, if I'm not mistaken, you can go on and check population of men versus women in the world, or population of men versus women in Nigeria. If it has not changed significantly, you find that it's almost at par. But what is the narrative you and I have carried? Women are so many. Men, we need to marry like 100 to help them so that they will not, they will not be alone. Help out our destiny. But when I started the research, I found out that it's not true. When you don't research, when you're not academic in your thinking, you'll be living on lies for a long time in your life. And if you must bring about a better generation after you, you cannot sit down with what I heard, what they said. You, what did you find out? And there's phone in our hands. But no, Nollywood. And what's the other one? My children started learning one particular language. I always forget. Korea. How many of us are watching Korean movies already? Hallelujah. Okay, good. But you see, it's good to catch your moment of fun, not at the detriment of the agenda. There's an agenda. So how did I come to the understanding that this agenda must be pushed? It's because there was a time they said, why should you send the girl to school? What's she going to school for? She's going to end in the other room. Right? Other room. There's some people pushed and said, no. There's something about these creatures called women, girls. You see, if currently we are almost 50-50, if you have an employment, this is a test for us. You have an employment where men are 50, women are 50, and you pay attention to only the men, train them, do everything to them. How much of productivity can that company have? Maximum, what percent? Only one person said it. We don't believe. Maximum, how much of percentage of productivity can that company have? It's 50 maximum. Let's even say they are grossing like those men are hot, sharp, and everything you can describe. The maximum will be 50. Why? They are 50% of the population. So every time any country, any company, any nation, any organization de-emphasizes the gender called woman, you are reducing your productivity metric. If you must get all, then you must raise all. But you see, what I just said now has been happening for long. People have been taught, thank you very much. People have been making this case for long. But the case I came to make today is that some people are pushing for us to be given space, but many of us are not ready. Don't disappoint those that are pushing and say, shift for them. Give them more space in the National Assembly. Give them more space in the desk. Give them more space. Are you ready? If they give you today, what will you do? And then let me tell you, if you don't do well, you will close the door ×2 to the girls coming behind you. So there's an agenda, and you cannot afford to be sleeping on this. And it begins from your home. What are you doing with the girls that you are raising? How are you preparing them for the world out there? What stuff are you feeding them with? There are a lot of things that men already reigned. Like they've reigned inside it. Women are just stepping into that space. And so I have some wisdom for us today. If someone has been where you have not been before, what should you do with that person? Fight him? Come inside and say, we are the one, give us space. And use emotion. Emotion cannot fly nothing. That's why I came to intentionally address emotional intelligence for ladies in career and business. And this can also be taken to family. So have a why that is what? Sustainable. Every time you look at you, stop looking at only you. There is a line of influence tied to you. Are we together? Are we together? There's a line of influence tied to you. And they are not just your biological girls or children. They are also every other woman, every other female gender you will find. We will not do it by default setting. We've been running default setting for so long. It's time to be deliberate. And one of the things I want to do with you here today is set fire on your tails to become a deliberate and intentional woman about everything that has to do with you. Second point, collaborate. You know, let me see, I shouted this one from the people doing karaoke to everything. You kept hearing us say collaborate, collaborate. So collaborate with and support other women. So a few years ago, Pertinence hosted a similar forum like this, and I was one of the panelists. And someone asked a question about women not supporting women. And my conclusion, I just told the person that whoever did that to you, I apologize on their behalf. They are running the old curriculum. Curriculum has changed. If you still find yourself beefing another woman that is doing well, you are in the old curriculum. They have left you behind. Right now, women support women. Can I hear you say that? Women support women. That is the narrative that we are pushing now. All those old things that have not helped anybody. You already seem like a disadvantaged lot, and then there's now infighting. That means you go nowhere. And then the men are just having a good laugh because look at them. See the people that want to take over from us. Imagine. I mean, who takes over like this? Yeah. Who takes over fighting over every little thing? We are guys, broke code. They just tell you broke code. Anything, they will settle the matter before it lands. They have to move on. Women, if you are ready for what I'm talking about, there's a lot to learn from the men. If you want to matter in the work world, if you want to matter in business, if you want to fly high, there's a lot to settle down and learn about those who have gone ahead of us. Forget that thing. Give the men their flowers. Give them their flowers. So, get on a team. That's under number 2, saying collaborate. In collaborating, you have to intentionally look for. Someone said today that I made up my mind I wanted to make new friends. It might seem to you like a what do you call it? A light goal, but it's very major. Get on a team that inspires you and serves as an accountability platform for you. You have to look for that. There was a year I entered into, and I told myself I wanted to enter Wimbies. Interesting, that was the year. I think that was the year Yemisi entered too. Next year. It seemed like, okay, next year. So I told myself that this year, I will enter Wimbies. Many of us here don't even know what Wimbies is. Let me not do head count of those that know. So it begins with, what do you know? You want to go where we are going? Are you ready? There are already men that are rooting for us. Like they are in their prayer closet saying, let these women see what they carry. Let them see that they are the ones we need in this area. And then we are sleeping. What they are doing is obey. We no go agree, we no go agree. Beijing conference, shift for us. Nobody shifts until they see you are ready. Number three, brim with great ideas and be indispensable. Woman, can you make yourself indispensable? Again, I query sayings a lot. I query quotes a lot. It's one of the things I love doing. So when I got into the workspace and I started hearing, nobody's indispensable. Nobody's indispensable. I'm like, nobody's indispensable. Then I made it one of my goals that when I'm leaving the organization where I'm working, I will be missed. And things happened because I worked towards it. It was important to me. I wanted to prove something wrong and prove the right one to be right. It might not be important to you, but it was to me. And it happened. I had reasons to be asked severally, must you leave now? Why do you have to go? What can we do? Can't you look at this? I got by the persons that matter. They never knew that I had that plot on my vision board. But yes, it did happen. And everywhere I still find myself till next tomorrow, I make myself indispensable. You can't meet me and go back the same. It's not possible. That's the brand. The brand is value-adding brand. I call myself value-adding citizen of the earth, base. So how dare you meet me and there's no value communicated? It's not possible. No, that means my entire essence is gone. And I fight for it hard. Be indispensable. Bring with ideas. When you sit at the table, stop looking mournful. I come to meetings sometime and I'm looking at some girls just looking like they just popo them in the night. What's this? Come alive to meetings. Show up and show up strong. Go and think about that thing later. That's what the men do. They have their stuffs. And I'm glad some of them are here. When I lie, please, I just raise hand and say, you don't lie for them. Yeah. They have their stuff. They have their concerns. But when it's time to face a project and be focused, they are able to refocus. Who says that focus is gender bias? God give men, give women. In fact, what science supports actually is the fact that women are able to multi-focus. So it means that you can shift and switch on what you want. You're multi-dimensional. Science supports that. What do you do with all of that? Brim with great ideas. I'm telling you things that will give you the space. Because Yemisi said it, and I think it's looking like a prophecy to me already. That there are some people that are due for some roles. They believe they are due. But that space is waiting for them to be ready. Who have been working here for 13 years. Who that will help? It's not how long. It's how well. And then a younger lady steps in and steps up her game. And you are crying. What were you doing with your space? What did you do with your time? You made all the excuses in the world. You asked for leave, off days, casual leave, every leave that is possible. You have collected everything. There were things I went through as and please, before I became an employer, I was an employee. So you better know that I'm speaking from all ends. And I didn't work in any mean place in terms of demand. I worked as a reporter. If you know any reporter, go and ask how their life is. Let them tell you. And I didn't work in an organization that gave you space to be lazy. There was nowhere to be lazy. The last thing you can be there is to be lazy. If I would say jokingly as staff that if you have 25 hours, this company will collect it from you and still ask you for more. That's because even when you are at home, you are thinking the work. Why? The next minute you show up. So what's the idea? Your boss is in front of you asking you. You dare not. You don't have an idea? Really? You don't? And you showed up at work? If you resign yourself, just the go like that. Some of us have it too soft. You need to challenge yourself to greater things. Some people are here now, what they are doing is too soft for where they are going. So, under brimming with ideas, I wrote slide 8. Work twice as hard and smarter to stay competitive. So, how many of us, those of us who follow female narratives a lot, women narrative in the workplace, you'd have heard them say, oh, women have to work twice as hard. There's nothing wrong with that. You are trying to play catch up. Don't you realize it? Some people have been in a space before you came and you don't want to work twice. What should you do? I mean, working twice as hard is just what you should do. You are running in a sprint. Someone took off a few minutes before you. What should you do? Huh? Double up. So, let me not hear any woman who attended this program complaining about working twice as hard. That is what you should do. If there's a competition with a man who has seen it all by seeing several people who have done it ahead of him, and you are not even willing to learn from him, then work twice as hard. The only way you not work twice as hard is if you understand, and I'm going to talk about that, the diplomacy of having them in your space. I don't want to say having them in your pocket, so they won't be scared. But if you understand it, they will have your back. They will have your back. Work twice as hard if you want to stay competitive. And then smart. Don't expect handouts or hand-downs. Pay your dues. Tell a woman, pay your dues. Tell another one, pay your dues. Say, pay your dues in banking. Pay your dues in entrepreneurship. Pay your dues in sales. Pay your dues in management. Pay your dues in medical science. Pay your dues everywhere. Pay your dues. So you say, hey, but I'm raising children. How do I pay my dues when I'm also raising children? Newsflash. I had all my 4 children as a journalist. Number 2, my company was at Mangoro, which was a very leisurely movement. Before I got married, I was working there. So I lived at Mangoro. So I lived at Cement. The office was at Mangoro. If you know that space very well, it's just one bus stop. So you can imagine the life I was living. Big life. So if I want to trek, I can trek. In fact, sometimes getting a bus, going by a bus is like wasting my time because I can just walk and then cross when I get to the other end. Then I got married and my house became very far. Guess what? We wanted a space where, you know some decisions now. So you can see how my head works sometimes. So I told my husband, you're a very popular somebody. I don't want a place where we'll be having visitor. Let us go far inside. He said, okay, no wahala, let's go. So we went into Adiyon. Beautiful house, but tortuous journey home. But once you enter that house, you're like, I love this house. But once you step out, yeah, see the road. Then, the company moved from Mangoro to Magboro. Yeah. And I was still working there. In fact, building a career and doing well by God's grace. Where was I living? Adiyon. Some people don't even know it because it's so interior. So, my life started to ask me questions. Who sent you? Why are you doing this? This and that. And my husband will always say that, let me tell you, if you must leave work because you are ready to leave. I don't want you to say anywhere in the story of your life that you left because of family or children. I say I hear. So every time I felt pressured, he will look for what to do to help. It was so demanding, I had to be living during the week with my mom because I didn't want to give any of my children to nannies. I raised all 4 children with my mom and my sisters without a nanny. But it took a toll on me. But I was ready to pay the price. It was what I wanted. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have a nanny. I heard so many stories as a single girl in the newsroom that was scared. There was no way in my head I could believe that my children won't be in trouble. So I imagine I would just be at work and I would be imagining what's happening today. I didn't want to face that torture. In addition to the fact that my work demands thinking a lot. So it's your choice. Let me shock you. If you understand that as a woman, raising a family is only a privilege that God gave you. He could have asked the men to do it. Then you will not be making it the reason why your life must be on a standstill. Perspective matters. What you think and how you think about it matters. It's a privilege to be the one to bring the children and to be the one to raise them. Whichever style you choose to use is yours. But it's a privilege. Some men would wish that they would know how having pregnancy feels. They may never say it out because you may abuse them. But you have that privilege, functionality. Your body was created to perform that honorable function. And then you now make them the reason. Why don't you ask for how to balance it up? And recently I've been hearing people say, there's nothing like work-life balance. Just do what works for you. Learn all you can and can all you learn. You don't have to be like another woman exactly. So don't expect handouts. Nobody's going to hand anything down to you or out. You will pay your dues. Tell someone you will pay your dues. You want to be an editor of a newspaper, you will pay your dues. You want to be the manager of a bank, you will pay your dues. You will read book, bagbe. You will answer, you will go to, you will attend courses. Leave that thing. They are not going to say, oh, she's a woman. Oh, they are raising a great nation for us. They're raising children. Please, let's just appropriate what she has done at home. I mean, that should work. What if it doesn't fit in? Number 3 under that. Don't be identified with being lazy. Don't be a laggard. Don't be laid back. And don't be lousy. Shockingly, these are terms that a lot of women have pushed as narratives. We're seen as the lousy ones, always talking above the pitch in the office. Because you allow your emotions to rule your communication. Laid back. Men have arrived at certain places, we are still trying to catch up. That's been laid back. Being a laggard is arriving behind others and being lazy. A lot of women have put the narrative that women are lazy so much that those who are not lazy have to prove it, that they are not. Who can relate? You have to prove that, no, I'm different from anyone else you've seen before. In being indispensable, be wary of trading frequent excuses for failure, even when it will be understood. Women, people, the world has a soft spot for us. So a lot of times we will explain things and it will be understood. But let me tell you how it works. Now that I'm in a managerial position, I understand it better. If someone is so nice and they always come to you and will give you a powerful reason why they will not be available, because you are humanitarian or humane, you would see reasons, right? But the day you are thinking of someone you can travel out and live in your business, will you think of that person? No, you won't. So be careful about, even when people understand your excuses, don't overuse it. Sometimes go through a strain to keep the neatness of your record, because you need that record to speak for you when the big things are up for grabs. If you already got used to saying why it can't happen, why you have to stop, why we can't go forward, why the vision is too big, if you're always the one pushing that narrative, the day the board is sitting, or management, top management is sitting and deciding who does what, you will be excused based on that. Because that's the only track record you left them to review you based on. Am I talking to someone? I don't want to go into things happening on the national scale right now in the Senate. I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go into what happened at the Lagos State, what do you call it now, State House. I don't want to go into that. But those are peak issues, national scale. But they tell us a lot about what's happening. Yeah. No matter how you look at it, some things could have been done better. Under this, I remind you to be a solution provider. Be that woman that comes and says, okay, so we've been doing it like this. What about we doing it this way? And they notice you are the one always coming up with it. Nobody can shift you. Nobody takes value off their shelf and takes it into the box to go and keep. You display value on the shelf. Unarguably, become good at what you do. And then be adventurous. That's why I talk about courage. There is courage in man. Even in name calling, I've only seen courage ladies, like ladies bearing courage. I've not even seen a man bearing courage. Who has seen a man bearing the name courage? But you're saying, okay, so good. So some people have seen men bearing courage. Thank you. It's good to know. I've seen ladies bearing the name courage. But when it comes to being courageous and adventurous, we just remind ourselves that I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I can't do this. I can't dare this. So if you want to be indispensable, I just shot you some salvos you have to come to terms with. It's about whether you have decided the first thing, your success, key success pointers. Remember that was where I started from. So if you're not planning to go anywhere too far, don't bother about what Mr. Obasa is saying. It's not for you. But if you're a go-getter woman in any area of life, this is how to get empowered. This is how to empower yourself. Number 4 point is grow in mastering your downtimes. Now we are entering into our area. You have to grow in mastering your down times. Everybody has a down moment. Men have, women have, rich women have, poor women have. Everyone has, because it's life. It's a swing though. It's a swing. It happens here and there. I do not like it when I hear that. They say, maybe she's in she must be in how do you say it? When you just see a woman behaving, you just say maybe she's hormones. The day hormones will talk, the day hormones will be giving mouth to talk, they will deny many women. They will say, excuse me, sir. On that day, it was not me. It's the gap she needs to fill in her life. She was lying on me, honestly, almost. I'm not the one. But thank God our hormones cannot talk. But for how long do you want to hide behind hormones, menstrual? It's time to grow in mastering your down moments. Anything that looks down. The first thing to do is to learn all you can and can all you learn. And then learn how to understand others and understand yourself. If you do not understand yourself, you cannot manage yourself well. And then it goes beyond just understanding you. Understand those in your space that matter. In everybody's lives, there are stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders in your life? Begin from knowing how to master them. And then spread the horizon. And then before long, when they say, who will do this? I was listening to Mrs. Ibukwa Oshika, I think last month, and it was at the Exponential Conference. I had not had in all of my life as a business correspondent, I never had the opportunity to meet her or to be in a room where she was. So when I saw that, I missed an event she was at earlier in the year, so I told myself, this one, I had to book. I don't like staying out of the house. But because of that event, I had to book a place on the island with a friend that this one we will attend. What are you doing? Currently, I just registered for an African Leadership Development course, Covenant University. It's online. It's going to take me 4 weeks of my life. I will add it to whatever I've been doing before. And I will succeed at it. What are you doing? What are you doing? It will not jump on you. And you don't have to wear it on your face. But they should not be able to deny the impact.